Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have you join us today. If you enjoy, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's video, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our future content. We're building an awesome community here, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Ryo put all his strength into this strike to knock her down and succeeded in doing so. The stunned angel collapsed, trying to comprehend what had just happened. The angel looked at her palm, on which golden blood was dripping from her nose. And she said, "What's this? Did that human bastard hit me?" The angel shouted angrily, saying, "You damned human bastard!" But when she turned around, she noticed that there was no one behind her. While Angel was trying to guess where Ryo was, I've already run after her, grabbing her wing immediately. And the angel said, "What are you planning?" But Ryo tray off the angel's wing. While she was screaming for him to stop, Ryo looked at her calmly and said to her, "Stop being such a crybaby." After pinning her to the ground, Ryo grabbed the remaining wing with both hands. Ryo said, "No, you won't be able to run." Ryo asked her how it felt to have her wings ripped off, by saying, "How is it? Hurts, right?" The angel replied, "Obviously it does." Ryo said, "In 5 minutes, it would have been you who would have asked. That's obvious question," making shitty laughing. She said, "Have you gone insane, human? What are you talking about?" Showing the angel a dagger hidden in one of the Tor wings. And he said, "You tried to kill me with a dagger hidden in your wing, did you not?" I'm from a reaction. He threw a wing and said, "I knew it." She said, "What do you mean?" "Kill, I had no plans of doing it." And he said, "There's no point in your trying to lie. I can't tell you just from looking at your face, Biriel." That angel was astonished, and she said, "How a mere human knowing my name?" Ryo replied, "There is no point in your knowing." Ryo took out his dagger to kill her. Then she said, "What are you doing?" "What's with the weapon all of a sudden?" Ryo said coldly. "Can't you tell?" She said, "Have you gone insane because you want your head to explode?" With the snap of my fingers, you. Before she finished speaking, Ryo said, "You don't have the ability to kill anymore." She looked at Ryo with hatred, trying to figure out how he knew that. Then she shouted, saying, "Do you think you'll get away with this? My comrades definitely won't sit still." He replied sarcastically, "Comrades my ass." And he kept saying, "Angels are all egoists who don't care for other people's business. Whether you're died or not, I doubt they'd care. Enough of that, I will send you off now. I will, though you wouldn't know." The angel said, "Wait! You want benefit, that's all from this. You'll regret it if you kill me. You won't be able to return home." Ryo replied, "System where I am automatically returned once the settlement is over." Then the angel said, "How do you even know that?" "Right, I'll give you all the information you want. Give me just one chance." Ryo replied, "Don't need it. If I needed information, I'd have tortured you to find out everything I wanted, the ecosystem of your kind, your purpose, and a fact that you're nothing more than a chess piece playing the role of a guide." The angel was surprised by how much information Ryo knew. At the same second, Ryo approached the stunned angel and stabbed the dagger blade deep into her chest, causing golden blood to flow from the angel's body. Biriel was instantly killed by a stab to the heart and fell dead to the ground. The system appeared saying, "An angel has been defeated. It's been confirmed that you are the first player to have defeated an angel. The title, the first angel slayer, has been awarded. You've been rewarded angel's blood for the first angel kill." Ryo said silently, "This time, I'm the first as expected." The system kept saying, "You've been rewarded rune of slaughter for the first angel kill." The acquired rune has been automatically imprinted on the player's body. These rewards are given to the player who first kills the angel. Then Ryo said, "I first learned about the reward while taking revenge on an angel on my 13th attempt. Maybe it's because it's a reward that only one player can obtain. Each reward is comparable to a unique item." And he kept saying, "If the engine found out that I'd already acquired a rune, they'd be shocked. And the biggest reason for why I kill the angel is angel's blood." Angel Blood is able to change the player's class to Repair, which is the natural enemy of Angel, and only be available from the level 10 and above. Ryo says, all players can all obtain a class starting at level 10. There are a total of 30 different classes, and changing classes is simple. You have to obtain a class change item. It's usually a car, naturally through hunting or fulfilling simple condition. But there are exceptions, and that we changing a unique class, which is only given to one player who obtains it under special circumstances. And of course, unique classes are on a completely different level than regular classes. Bonus stats advancement, rune skill composition, etc. It's faultlessly good. Then he said, that's being said, I come back without even clearing the first round. Then I'll use the reward for being first place in all regions. There are 3 choices in reward list. 0.3 X exp buff, maintained for round 2. 2,000 gold. Information on round 2. Ryo said, the important thing now is to quickly reach level 10 and change classes. Then Ryo selected 3x exp buff and the buff has been applied automatically. Ryo said, this attempt is the final one, so I have nowhere to turn to now. I have to become strong by any means necessary. Soon the first round was over. A little more than 900 million people survived in the world, and all of them will be returned to this world on the 1st of February to pass the second round. Immediately after the system message, that transfer of souls in the bodies of the current dimension began. After 1 second, everyone who managed to survive the first round woke up in the same place they were in. Youngmin woke up in a panic and says, this is the new year? What's happening here? Did everyone collapse like me? I had a weird dream. It's 5:20 p.m., the same amount of time passed here as it did in my dream. Meanwhile, the rest of the people started to wake up, holding their sore hands. Youngmin looked at one of his friends and said to him, are you up? He looked up and asked, Youngmin, did I faint by any chance? Youngmin replied, yeah, not only you, but everyone here. Another friend asked him, what's going on? I was going to say I had a weird-ass dream. Then Youngmin replied, yeah, but I don't think it was a dream. And everyone will be back there on the 1st of month. While one of his friends was saying this in a state of panic, Youngmin looked confused at his friend lying on his ground and said, hey, but why is this guy not getting up? His friend sitting next to him turned and asked him to wake up, but he didn't show any reaction. Then Hare rolled his friends over to ask him to get up. But when the boy rolled onto his back, he noticed that his friend's face had become pale, and he put his hand on his friend's face. His frightened friend did not feel his breathing. Then he said, damn, he's not breathing. I can't feel his pulse either. Then Youngmin said, Taishik died. His friends say, no way did he die because he didn't survive in the game. Then everyone who's not waking up here, they're corpses. It's a possible only half survived. Then will the next round be like this? Youngmin silently said, this is insane. Doesn't that mean that whether they were born with a golden spoon in their mouth or not, everyone must live equally? Now there's no need to cry out that life is unifier. After saying that Youngmin his head and said to his friends, calm down, we just need to survive now, where are you so worried? His friend said, it's so unfair to die without having the chance to properly play around. Youngmin said, it's not just us. Others have also been wrapped this situation. What's there to feel so unfair about? His Blad friend said, you were basically just thug your entire life until just now, so you obviously won't feel like anything was a close, even if you die right now. I still have a ton of things I want to do. Then he said to Youngmin, what are you looking for? He said, I can't seem to find that son of bitch. Who? Your personal errand boy. Youngmin said silently, where did that little brat go? I am pretty certain I saw him in that direction before I fainted. Could it be that he couldn't even pass that first round and croaked? Well, that makes sense. How could a wake brat like him survive after all? During the talk, Youngmin saw something unusual nearby. In the middle of the crowd, a man wearing medieval metal shoulder pads walked. Youngmin silently said, what's with that guy? And where did he get those tacky clothes? No way. and he called up his status window. Ryumin was surprised by the appearance of a window that he didn't accept to appear in the real world. Ryumin picked up a small rock to test whether the power granted to them by the system worked. Then he squeezed that stone in his fist with all his might, crushing it into pieces, and opened his palm, from which store dust was scattered. Then Ryumin looked at his hand and said, "This is awesome. This is breaking New Year news." Today at early dawn, something unbelievable occurred. Now let us take a look at the scene. An unidentified woman dressed in an angel costume, A, appears above the New Year's bell and speaks to the civilians below her. Not longer after a mysterious explosion takes place, after a civilian points at the woman and says something, and the civilian in question was immediately killed. After which, the woman spreads her arms out towards the civilians, causing over 10,000 people so suddenly collapsed. According to police reports, most of the collapses civilians fall within the range of 15 to 29 years old. It has been confirmed that similar events have occurred not only in our country, but in other countries across the world. Of course, our broke out in the comments under the video, and the most people were convinced that the reporters were on drugs or that they had nothing to do in the new year by spreading lies. Ryu said, "It's starting, and this is just the beginning." At around 5:20 a.m., roughly half of the collapsed civilians have regained consciousness, while the remaining stay at the location of the event. They have been diagnosed as brain dead. Celebrity A was discovered dead at said square. It's the first time the over 11% of the country's population has been dead in crisis. Ryu said, "While the articles about that deaths are flowing out non-stop, the real problem lies somewhere else. The survivors are currently being called players, and the cause behind all this is still under investigation." Ryu said, "It's the fact that the abilities of players have been transferred over into reality. There is yet to be a person with high stats, so there isn't much of an effect right now. But as the levels of players increase, they will become transcendent entities. No matter what modern weapons others use, or even if they use the might of an entire military, these players won't be suppressed. Uncontrollable human weapons will be born. I have no plans on just watching as the world faces chaotic events. If I just leave everything as it's, the Earth may fall into ruin even before the 20th round. There is only one solution. I need to control all players, using overwhelming power. I'm sure I'll have to use different methods from my previous attempts, of course. I have a couple of people with potential in mind, and I've thought of methods on how to recruit them already, but it's not time to act yet. Right now there is something even more important that I have to do." Ryu was already standing at the front door of an apartment in one of the city's alleys. Opening the door, he entered his home. Ryu noticed something, and he said, "That's Brat. He ate cup ramen for dinner again." Ryu appeared into one of the rooms. A dark-haired boy was sleeping there, soundly asleep. Ryu said, "He's able to sleep well, even when his older brother hasn't come home yet." And he said too, "Ryu 1 is my younger brother who's turning into a third-year middle schooler. Our family was a typical one. However, after my parents passed away in a traffic accident, many things change overnight. One of the most drastic changes that happened was me becoming whose only guardian. When he saw the wound on the back of his brother's hand, he touched it gently. Then Ryu turned on the light in the room, and thus his brother woke up. Ryu said to his brother, 'Time to wake up, 1. It's morning.' 'What?' 'It's only 6 a.m. At that moment he pulled the blanket off him and said, 'We don't have time to keep sleeping.' He replied, 'What? What happened?' 'I'll explain, so put your clothes on first. We're going out.' 'Where are we even going? If you're suggesting we go watch the sunrise, I'd rather sleep more.' Before he finished speaking, Ryu said, 'Listen to Hyung. Now's not the time to relax and sleep. The world is in chaos.' But he didn't understand what his brother means by seeing this, and said, 'You said you were going to watch the New Year's welcoming ceremony. Did something happen?' Ryu said, 'Come on out first. I'll tell you as we walk.' Ryu and his brother were already walking silently down the streets, and he still didn't understand what was happening. Ryu 1 looked at his older brother thinking, for him to have such a serious look on his face, I wonder what happened. Ryu said, 1. You have no idea what's going on in the world right now, right? He replied, Why are you seeing that? You're scaring me. Did something happen while I was asleep? He said, Check the current top search. He immediately took his cell phone out of his pocket and opened the latest news. The boy stopped in his tracks in shock and asked, What does this even mean? An angel appeared and kidnapped civilians to another world? Ryo replied, To be more accurate, only their souls were taken away. No way, even you were. That's right. It was only after I was able to hunt 100 monsters called the goblins that I could survive and return. He ran to his brother and asked him, What? Is that true? Are you hurt anywhere then? But Ryo turned around and asked him not to worry about him. How could I not worry about you? Then Ryumin said silently, So this is family, the only one I have now is you. Of course I know, you had to become the most mentally strong individual ever. But having a strong mind and killing 100 monster are completely separate things. Hyung must have a weak side too. Ryo said, I know what you're thinking. Back there, he had a system called stats, like the one in games, so my actual physical ability didn't matter. And when you see me later on, you probably won't think that at all. What does that even mean? Ryo said, If you want to know, just follow me. His brother stopped and said, I don't want. Until you tell me where we are going, I won't take another step. Ryo looked at him and looked at his wound on his arm again. Then he said, We're going to Bang Taegyu's hideout, the hideout of your class's head delinquent. お前はもう死んでいる。